I'm Susan from Tarjac. You may know us as the source for the best camo for your guns and bows, but we do so much more. Our custom work with automotive parts can transform any vehicle, our ATVs, sleds, four-wheelers, motorcycles. We've received national recognition for our work with Orange County Choppers, and we are most proud of our partnership with the future servicemen by providing customized helmets for the Army-Navy game. From the national stage to your favorite hunting ground, it's Tarjac.
The Southern Tier may have received the smallest award, $49.4 million, in the Governor's Regional Economic Development Competition, but leaders say it's still almost $50 million. Additionally, the announcement comes hours after the state legislature passed a $50 million flood relief package and $40 million in tax breaks to keep BAE in the area.
If you add that with the $50 million we're receiving, you're in excess of $100 million. So the way I look at it, the glass is completely full.
But I think people knew that we would be receiving a substantial amount of money to help with not only flood recovery, but with job retention, certainly at BAE and Amphenol.
The largest chunk of the award, $10 million, will go to low-cost economic development financing across the 8 counties of the Southern Tier. Another almost $5 million will go to financing for private sector redevelopment of key buildings and downtown development. Notable grants for Broome County will go toward a year-round farmers market at Otsenango Park and improving the terminal at the Greater Binghamton Airport.
The funding that we've gotten will really take us a long way. I mean, the projects we'll be able to support, whether it's downtown revitalization or helping to make homes and businesses more energy efficient.
The biggest winners in the competition were Western New York, Central New York, the North Country, and Long Island, whose regions all received over $100 million. For those disappointed the tier didn't get more, there will be another competition next year.
We're going to be asking a lot of questions to see how effective this has been and how this goes forward, but so far it has seemed to really have had very positive results, certainly in this region where we've learned things about Chemung and Tompkins, Delaware and other counties and resources that were there.
And win or lose,
it's all a lot of money, no matter how you look at it.
We also passed a piece of legislation that we're going to sign here today, which is $50 million for flood relief.
Small businesses, farms, nonprofits, and municipalities who have been waiting for additional flood relief grants can finally rest easy. $21 million of the $50 million is for small businesses and farms. It will provide up to $20,000 not covered by other recovery programs. The Senator Lippis says there are strict guidelines.
And remember, you have to qualify. If you received funding, we're not going to allow people to double dip, as they say. We're going to give it to people who need it, who were hurt by the flood.
Counties will have the opportunity to receive up to $500,000 for flood mitigation and flood control projects. Debbie Preston says that money will cover the remaining percentage of damages that other programs like FEMA haven't covered.
As leaving as a supervisor of a town that has been devastated by this flood, I know that there's something there to help them. Coming in as the new county executive, I know that there's a tool there for us to help with the 12.5% and anything else that we need as far as flood recovery.
And the governor says there should be excitement considering all the funding the area has recently received.
Yesterday, you were awarded about $50 million in economic development money. There's about $40 million in tax credit money for BAE. There is a $50 million flood package that we just signed, much of which will go here. So if this is a bad week, you should have a bad week every week. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Passerbys on Court Street may look in the Old Phil's gift shop and see a mess, but Michael Weissel saw it as an opportunity to bring his family's unique pastime to an historic building in downtown Binghamton.
I'm interested in getting everybody downtown, everybody coming here because it's a great place to be.
Weissel has been a home brewer for decades and has tentative plans to start in January to convert these old buildings into Galaxy Brewing Company, the second microbrewery to pop up in the area. The brew pub will not only feature the old original brick facade, it will give guests a front row seat to how beer is made.
I want this to be almost a floor-to-ceiling glass wall. so you can really get an idea of what the brewery looks like.
Weisel says completing the project by next spring will be a challenge, but his spirits are up. Once the old display cases and shelves are gutted, his vision for the bar and restaurant can come to fruition, and the projects aren't limited to the first floor. Up the stairs, a laid-back, relaxing lounge is also in the works.
We looked and we said, wow, there's history here. We can do some fun things in the newer part of the building, and yet in the older part of the building, we can really go back in the history of Binghamton and create something that is unique and different.
The building's history extends all the way up to the 3rd and 4th floors, where this used to be the Redmen's Club and hasn't been used for nearly 100 years, but Weisel hopes to change that.
It really is a fantastic looking room, and ultimately we have plans to restore that room to its real glory.
For Weisel and his family, the building, its history, and the beers that will be brewed here are all a project whose time has come again.
Time now for a break, but when we come back, the latest legal tip from the law office of John G. Dowd, some tips on what to look for if you're looking to lease your land.
I'm Norm Poltenson. I've published the Central New York Business Journal for 25 years. Our success is based on the fact that we know only one audience, owners and managers of businesses in Central New York. We publish stories for them, we don't offer sound bites, and we always source our information. Maybe technology's changed since I started publishing 25 years ago, but not our mission. You can always rely on the Central New York Business Journal providing your business news.
Make your company's job opportunities stand out and get seen. The Binghamton Business Connection and BizConnectTV.com have created the area's first video job posting service. Don't hope a few words of text will get you the local candidates you want. Get your opportunities seen on the Binghamton Business Connection TV show and BizConnectTV.com/jobs. For an inexpensive multimedia and visual way to showcase your job openings, call 239-0199, email BizConnectTV@gmail.com, and watch the Binghamton Business Connection on My 8. Welcome back. Time now for the latest legal tip from the law office of John G. Dowd. And this week, John talks about some tips for you if you're looking to lease your land for gas drilling.
Hello, and welcome to this week's segment of Everyday Legal Strategies from the law offices of John G. Dowd. Today, we will address the topic of oil and gas leasing. This is a time of uncertainty in our state, but it would appear that responsible drilling is going to come to our area. In general, there are 3 types of landowners: those that make things happen, others that watch things happen, and then people who just don't know what happened. The New York permitting process is stalled until the DEC's hydrofracking regulations are finalized and New York's framework for safe and responsible drilling is set up. However, the delay gives New York landowners more time to plan. 2 general suggestions. Join your local oil and gas coalition to facilitate, educate, and negotiate a landowner-friendly lease for you. Second, do your tax planning before you sign an oil and gas lease. Oil and gas leases generate a variety of types of income. These could be rental fees, bonus payments, fees for damages, locating a drilling rig on your property, removal of trees, or permanent easements. However, each of these payments may generate ordinary income or capital gains, and it's important for you to plan ahead as to how you want to receive your payments and how they will be characterized for tax purposes. You may want to consider dividing the surface rights, that's the top of your property, from the subsurface rights, which would be the bottom of the property, and putting at least the subsurface rights into a limited liability company. The limited liability company would afford you the opportunity for tax averaging and estate planning. The values obviously would be less if you did not have a lease, and the value of the property would be greater if you had a lease or they were already producing gas. An important concept with oil and gas leases is depletion. And it's important that when you acquire the land that you allocate as much as you can to the price of the land as opposed to the improvements. Currently, you're allowed a 15% depletion allowance. but you're also allowed to take a depletion deduction based upon the cost of your land. So it requires some reverse thinking on the part of the taxpayer. The second thing that you may want to consider doing is looking at a like-kind exchange. If your property becomes extremely valuable because you have a lease on it for oil and gas purposes, this may be your opportunity to exchange your land for some property that you perhaps want on the Jersey Shore on a tax-free basis. And remember, the more you plan, the more you save. And the more you save, the more you keep. Thank you again from the law offices of John G. Dowd.
Time now for a bit of business wisdom from someone who has lived it thanks to our friends at Prendismo.com, partnering with entrepreneurs for success. And this week's bit of business wisdom: what personnel issues you may face if your business is growing.
Any entrepreneur is going to run into this. No one's going to work as hard as you. And if they do, you probably should watch out. Because, well, the fact of the matter is, if you're in their shoes, what you're looking out typically for your best interest. But you have to, I mean, when I first started, I was like, well, no, I can train them, they're going to work as fast as me. They never will. And, you know, that's expected, though. It's a different way of thinking. And I think the best way to handle that, because we have had issues, I shouldn't say issues, it's very typical. It's just making sure you have the proper training programs in the infrastructure to support wherever your workforce may be. If it's in upstate New York, you're going to tailor your instructions, your training manuals differently than if it's down in New York City. Different pace of work, different way of thinking. So these are all considerations which I would say now I'm spending almost all my time doing. Because your company now is how well your employees do. You know, I can only do so much. And in order to grow a company to keep continually growing the company, you need to really learn how to train and develop a program that allows you to support the infrastructure of your employees. And I would say that is the biggest barrier for companies going from being, you know, small, maybe 10-person operation to growing to maybe, you know, 50-person company.
Thank you very much for joining us. Until next time, I'm Jason Weinstein. Have a good one. Make your company's job opportunities stand out and get seen. The Binghamton Business Connection and BizConnectTV.com have created the area's first video job posting service. Don't hope a few words of text will get you the local candidates you want. Get your opportunities seen on the Binghamton Business Connection TV show and BizConnectTV.com/jobs. For an inexpensive multimedia and visual way to showcase your job openings, call 239-0199, email bizconnecttv@gmail.com, and watch the Binghamton Business Connection on My 8.